The false victory. The galaxy was quiet, but only for a moment. The massive fleet of the Xylar Empire glided through space, their golden hulls gleaming under distant stars. They had believed their victory over humanity was complete. Every human stronghold destroyed, every planet under their control. Yet deep in the void, something stirred. Something the Empire had not expected. On the bridge of the flagship, Admiral Vexar watched the stars with pride. He could feel the thrill of triumph, his crew cheering, celebrating the so-called end of the human rebellion. "They are finished," he said, his voice echoing in the steel corridors. "No planet, no ship, no human can challenge us now." But even as he spoke, sensors picked up a faint, almost imperceptible signal, a blip deep in the uncharted regions of space. The analysts dismissed it as a malfunction, a ghost reading. Yet the signal pulsed again, slow and deliberate, like a heartbeat hiding in the dark. Far below on Earth, the ruins of once great cities lay in silence. Smoldering and empty, humanity seemed defeated, their fleets shattered, their defenses broken. The Xylar Empire believed Earth was a hollow prize, easy to claim, easy to destroy. But beneath the crust, in secret underground shipyards and orbital hangars, the last remnants of humanity stirred, shadows moving with purpose, machines waking from centuries of secrecy. Commander Auric Kane stood before the command center, eyes scanning the holographic star charts. His hands trembled not from fear, but from the weight of responsibility. He had watched countless human lives fall, watched friends die, yet he had a plan, a secret long hidden from both human and alien eyes. "They think we are finished," he said quietly. "They do not see what we have built." Around him, engineers and pilots worked tirelessly, activating dormant systems, igniting engines that had slept for decades. The Dreadnoughts, massive human warships, began to hum with energy, their weapons charging in silence, unseen and unheard. Back in the Xylar flagship, Admiral Vexar's celebrations continued, his officers exchanging tales of victory, mocking the humans as weak, incapable of any true resistance. "Their fleets were primitive," one lieutenant boasted. "Their weapons could not even scratch us," Vexar laughed, confident, dismissing the strange signals as nothing more than cosmic noise. Yet a flicker of doubt touched the edges of his mind, subtle and unwelcome, a whisper that maybe, just maybe, the humans were not as defeated as he believed. Meanwhile, the signals grew stronger, pulsing with a rhythm that was almost human, almost intelligent, almost alive across the Earth. Hidden command centers buzzed with anticipation. Auric Kane watched the readouts, calculating, planning, every move precise, every ship accounted for. The humans had learned from past defeats. They had studied the Xylar tactics, adapted their strategies, turned weakness into strength. The Dreadnoughts, silent giants of metal and fire, awaited the command, their crews ready to reclaim what was theirs. The first tremor of change shook the Empire when small human ships began appearing on remote sensor arrays. Mere scouts at first, but enough to confuse the Xylar officers. "Impossible," one said, pointing at the readings. "They were destroyed years ago." Vexar frowned, irritation creeping into his voice. "Ignore it," he ordered, yet curiosity burned beneath his pride. He could not understand how humans had survived, how they could have hidden such power for so long. On Earth, the human fleet prepared, tension and excitement mixing in the air. Pilots checked their systems, weapons glinting under the artificial lights. Every human aboard every ship felt the same resolve, the same fierce determination. They would not simply fight to survive. They would fight to reclaim the stars, to prove that humanity's spirit could never be crushed. Even those who had lost everything held their heads high, knowing this moment was theirs to shape. As the first Dreadnoughts moved into orbit, Earth's hidden power revealed itself, a slow, deliberate rise from the ashes. The signals pulsing from deep space aligned with their trajectory, a beacon to guide them. The Empire's fleet, still celebrating, remained blind to the storm about to hit. Every Xylar ship, every admiral, every soldier was unprepared for the human resurgence. Commander Kane gave the order, a single word that would echo across the void. "Engage," and the silent fleet responded, engines roaring to life, weapons lighting up with deadly anticipation. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity never surrendered. Humanity never bowed. They had only waited. And now the fight would begin again. The awakening of Earth deep beneath the surface of Earth. In vast underground shipyards long forgotten by the galaxy, the hum of machinery filled the air. It was a sound of life returning, a quiet promise of power. Humanity's dreadnoughts, colossal ships of metal and fire, stirred from decades of silence, their hulls gleaming under artificial lights, weapons dormant no longer, waiting for the moment to strike. Commander Arik Kane walked among the crews, his eyes sharp, his voice steady. "Prepare every system," he said. "The galaxy thinks we are weak." "But they are about to learn the truth," engineers nodded. Fingers flying over consoles, activating engines, calibrating weapons, checking shields. The dreadnoughts responded like living beasts, their systems awakening in a symphony of energy and light. Above in orbit, small human scouts emerged from stealth. Weaving through the debris of past battles, sensors picked up enemy ships, distant but still formidable. Yet the humans did not hesitate. Every pilot trained, every move precise. They were shadows in space, unseen and deadly. Their presence alone began to disturb the Xylar Empire's confidence. Though the aliens still believed it a minor threat on Earth, civilians watched from hidden observation posts, faces filled with hope and fear. Children who had never seen the stars alive with human ships now saw them rise. Older survivors who had lost everything now felt a spark of pride. Arik Kane looked at them, his heart heavy and light at the same time. He knew the cost of the coming battle would be high, yet he also knew humanity had waited too long to surrender. The first dreadnought, Horizon's Edge, powered up its engines, massive thrusters glowing bright. The ground shook as the ship moved, its size dwarfing every structure around it. Pilots entered cockpits, hearts racing, hands steady. They were ready to fight, ready to reclaim the stars from those who had thought them defeated. Suspense built as the remaining dreadnoughts aligned behind the first, a silent armada awakening in perfect formation. Meanwhile, far beyond Earth, the Xylar Empire's fleet scanned the void, their sensors picking up anomalies, signals that made the officers uneasy. "What is this?" demanded one commander, pointing at the readings. Vexar frowned, irritation growing. "Just minor interference," he said. But deep inside, a flicker of doubt appeared. The humans had been hiding something powerful, something dangerous back on Earth. Kane gave the final command. "Raise shields, arm weapons, plot course for interception." The dreadnoughts responded instantly, energy flowing through every conduit, every weapon calibrated for maximum impact. The first signals of the humans' hidden fleet reached the edge of the Xylar detection grids, and alarms began to sound on the enemy ships. Confusion spread quickly, the Empire realizing for the first time that humanity was not gone, not broken, not defeated in the orbital command hub. Young pilot Lyra Chen looked out at the awakening fleet, her eyes wide with awe. She had trained her entire life for this moment, and now it was here. "We are the storm they never expected," she whispered, fingers tightening on her controls. Her voice echoed the sentiment of every human aboard every ship, a silent oath that the galaxy would remember. The first engagement was subtle, almost like a test. Scout ships darting in and out, disabling communication satellites, disrupting Xylar sensors, small victories, but enough to shake the enemy's confidence. Meanwhile, the dreadnoughts remained hidden, their full power unknown, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. Suspense grew across the Empire, whispers of human resurgence spreading like wildfire. Arik Kane looked at the star charts, plotting the next moves. "They believe the battle is over," he said. "They have no idea we are ready." Every crew member felt the weight of responsibility, yet the thrill of opportunity surged through them. The humans had survived countless attacks, adapted, learned, and now, they were no longer hiding, they were awakening, rising from the shadows, a force the galaxy had forgotten. And as the first dreadnought slowly moved toward the outer rim, engines glowing like distant suns, the Xylar Empire began to realize a terrifying truth. Humanity was not finished. Humanity was alive and ready to fight. Their patience had ended, their vengeance had begun, and the galaxy would soon tremble at the might of Earth's awakened fleet. First strike of dreadnoughts. The void trembled as Earth's dreadnoughts emerged from hidden corridors of space. Engines blazing, weapons charging, they moved with silent precision. The Xylar Empire had not anticipated such a display, their sensors blinking frantically at the sudden appearance of massive human ships. "Impossible," hissed an alien commander. They should have been destroyed. Panic spread across the enemy fleet as human dreadnoughts formed a perfect line of attack. Commander Arik Kane stood on the bridge of Horizon's Edge, eyes sharp, hands steady on the control panels. "Engage," he ordered, his voice calm but filled with steel. The first salvo of plasma beams erupted from the dreadnoughts, cutting through the emptiness of space, striking enemy cruisers with surgical precision, explosions blossoming like supernovas against the dark. Alien soldiers scrambled to respond, but their formation shattered under the unexpected assault. The humans had studied the Xylar tactics for decades, memorized their weak points and adapted. Each maneuver of the Dreadnoughts was calculated, every strike exact, showing the ingenuity and cunning of a species the galaxy had underestimated. The aliens tried to regroup, firing broad volleys, but the humans' shields absorbed the attacks, and counterfire struck before the enemy could react, suspense and tension rising with every passing moment. Far from the front lines, small human scout ships darted in and out, invisible and deadly, sabotaging enemy supply lines, disabling communications, sowing confusion. Every disruption gave the Dreadnoughts a strategic advantage, and every alien admiral began to realize that this was not a simple counterattack, but the opening of a human resurgence that had been planned for years. On board Horizon's Edge, Lyra Chen's hands flew over her console, targeting enemy command ships, guiding plasma torpedoes into vital systems. Direct hit, she breathed as explosions lit the void. Her voice carried the exhilaration of victory, tempered by the knowledge that the battle had only begun. The Dreadnoughts moved as one, a single organism of destruction, coordinated and unstoppable. In the Empire's flagship, Admiral Vexar's pride turned to fear. What have they done? He growled, his claws tightening on the railing. They should have been powerless. The Xylar fleet was reeling, formations broken, key warships destroyed, morale faltering. Every sensor reading told the same story. Humanity had hidden power, cunning, and resolve far beyond their expectations. Back on Earth, civilians watched the live feeds from hidden bunkers, hearts pounding as human ships struck with precision. Families who had lived in fear for decades now saw the pride of their species rise again. The young and old alike cheered in silence, knowing that the impossible was happening before their eyes. Suspense built with every victory. Knowing that greater danger still awaited, suddenly, an alien superweapon activated near the edge of the battlefield. A massive construct glowing with destructive energy. Its beams swept the stars, threatening to annihilate anything in its path. Panic spread among the human fleet. Yet Commander Kane remained calm, eyes narrowing. Focus on strategy, not fear, he commanded. Every dreadnought adjusted its course. Shields realigned, weapons primed, prepared for the challenge. The first true clash of titans began as plasma beams and laser arrays met alien energy blasts in a violent storm of light and sound. Even at a distance, the spectacle was awe-inspiring, terrifying. Humans fought with brilliance, courage and unity, turning desperation into opportunity. Their first strike had shattered the illusion of defeat, proving that humanity was alive, cunning and unstoppable. As the battle raged, whispers traveled across the galaxy, even to distant alien colonies, the humans. They are not finished. Commanders began to question every assumption, every victory that had once seemed certain. Humanity had not only survived, they had awakened, and the Dreadnought's first strike was only the beginning. Commander Kane looked out at the battlefield, eyes scanning every movement. "This is the start," he said softly. "The start of our return. The start of our dominance." Behind him, the Dreadnoughts glimmered like armored giants. Alive with power, ready to strike again, suspense lingered. The galaxy holding its breath, knowing the fight had only just begun. The galactic fleet reels. The Xylar Empire's fleet trembled under the sudden assault, confusion spreading like wildfire. Ships collided in panic, their formations broken, commanding officers shouting orders that could not be followed fast enough. Every dreadnought from Earth moved with precision, cutting through enemy ranks, each strike calculated, deadly, and unstoppable. Commander Arik Kane observed the battlefield from Horizon's Edge, his eyes sharp and calm. "Focus on their command ships," he instructed. "They lose control. They lose the fight." The humans had learned from centuries of attacks, adapted, and now every maneuver showcased intelligence beyond what the aliens had imagined. Even seasoned Xylar admirals began to tremble as their ships were destroyed one by one, the illusion of victory slipping like sand through their claws. Explosions lit the void, fireballs against the darkness, the shockwaves rattling nearby vessels. The dreadnoughts moved in unison, shields flaring as enemy energy blasts struck but failed to pierce the human armor. Tactical genius became evident with every move. Humans striking weak points, exploiting openings, predicting enemy reactions. The Xylar Empire realized too late that their opponents were no longer just survivors. They were predators in the void. Meanwhile, in Earth's orbital command hub, young pilot Lyra Chen guided a squadron through the chaos, dodging energy blasts, striking enemy frigates with precision. Her heart pounded, excitement and fear mixing. Yet every hit, every destroyed ship brought satisfaction, proof that humanity's power had returned. Suspense built as alien reinforcements arrived, massive cruisers glowing with new energy, threatening to turn the tide. Eric Kane's voice echoed through the fleet. Steady, commanding. Do not falter, do not hesitate. We strike where they are weakest. We strike with honor. Engineers on each dreadnought adjusted weapons, recalibrated shields, and prepared countermeasures against the alien superweapon activated earlier. The humans had anticipated this, and every move was part of a strategy designed to turn panic into advantage. The first alien counterattack was fierce. Energy beams cutting through space, attempting to break the human line. Yet Earth's dreadnoughts held firm, shields glowing like molten gold, weapons firing in perfect harmony. The Empire's fleet began to reel, confusion spreading as human ships destroyed key targets, morale collapsing under the relentless assault. On board an enemy flagship, Admiral Vexar bared his teeth, fear and anger mixing. Hold the line, he roared. Yet his crew was trembling, every strike against them shattering confidence. They had underestimated humanity, underestimated resilience, underestimated the sheer cunning that decades of secret preparation had forged. The Xylar Empire, once confident in ultimate victory, now struggled to regroup back on Earth. Civilians watched in hidden observation stations, eyes wide with awe and disbelief. Children who had never imagined such power saw humans rise. Survivors who had lost everything now felt a renewed sense of hope. Every explosion, every strike told a story of courage, defiance, and unbreakable will. Suspense gripped the human population as they realized their warriors had returned stronger than ever. The alien superweapon, activated in desperation, roared like a star tearing itself apart, its destructive beams sweeping the battlefield. But humans had anticipated this, and with precise maneuvers they avoided the worst, striking key energy conduits, destabilizing the weapon before it could unleash full devastation. The first major human victory was complete, and the Xylar Empire was reeling, unable to comprehend how the supposedly defeated species had returned with such ferocity. Eric Kane surveyed the battlefield, eyes calm but mind alert. We have broken them, he said softly, but the fight is not over. Even as humans celebrated minor victories, he knew that the galaxy still held dangers. Unknown threats lurked beyond the horizon, yet humanity's might was undeniable. Their dreadnoughts had risen, their courage proven, and the first shock to the Empire was only the beginning. And so the void echoed with the sounds of war. The Xylar Empire staggered, and the humans, alive and unbroken, pressed forward, every victory sending waves of suspense across the galaxy. Every move a reminder that Earth's warriors had returned, fierce and unstoppable, and the dreadnoughts, silent giants of steel and fire, moved with purpose, ready to strike again, leaving the Empire to reel in the wake of their awakening. The turning point. The battle raged on across the void, streaks of energy lighting the darkness like furious lightning. The Xylar Empire's fleet was shaken, their confidence eroding with every strike. Commander Eric Kane observed from horizon's edge, eyes scanning every movement, calculating every response. Adapt or fall, he whispered. This is the moment we change everything. Human dreadnoughts moved with unmatched precision, their weapons firing in perfect synchronization. Alien cruisers were disabled before they could even react. Panic spread as the Empire realized the humans were not just strong, they were unpredictable, cunning, and relentless. The first true turning point came when Kane identified the alien superweapon's control node, a glowing nexus of energy at the heart of the enemy fleet. Destroy it and the balance of power would shift. Kane relayed orders to the fleet, every dreadnought adjusting its trajectory to strike in unison. The humans advanced, shields flaring as enemy beams struck but failed to penetrate. Tactical genius became visible to all. The Xylar Empire was unprepared for such strategy, their largest cruisers falling one by one, explosions scattering debris across the dark. Meanwhile, a squadron of human scouts slipped past the chaos. Invisible in the void, they infiltrated enemy formations, sabotaging communications and targeting key warships. Every small success added to the growing confusion among alien forces. Whispers of doubt spread through the Xylar ranks, questioning leadership and loyalty, as human ingenuity revealed flaws in their strategy. Back on Earth, civilians and survivors watched live feeds with awe. Hope and fear mingled as humans struck decisive blows. Children cheered quietly, older survivors smiled through tears. Each human victory became a symbol that defeat had never been permanent. Humanity had endured, and now they were taking back the stars. The alien superweapon prepared to fire, its massive energy surging, threatening to annihilate anything in its path. Yet Kane had anticipated this, and with one daring maneuver, the human Dreadnoughts split the fleet, drawing the weapon's fire. While a small team of strike ships targeted the control node, explosions lit the void, systems overloaded, and the superweapon faltered, its power cut short by precision attacks onboard Horizon's edge. Kane allowed himself a brief smile. "This is it," he said. The turning point around him, crews worked tirelessly, shields absorbing minor hits, weapons firing without pause, each human ship a symbol of resilience, courage, and determination. The Xylar fleet, once confident in victory, now faltered, unable to respond to the unexpected brilliance of the humans. Unexpectedly, a group of alien defectors appeared on the battlefield. Joining the human assault, they had observed the courage and ingenuity of humanity, realizing that the Empire's tyranny could no longer hold. Together, humans and defectors launched coordinated strikes, overwhelming remaining enemy cruisers. The tide of battle shifted decisively, morale swinging completely in favor of Earth's warriors. Yet even in victory, tension remained. Unknown threats lingered in distant sectors, and the Empire was far from finished. Kane knew the war was not yet won, but the momentum had changed. Humanity had seized the upper hand, their ingenuity and courage turning desperation into dominance. Suspense lingered as the fleet pressed forward, knowing that every victory carried the risk of counterattack. In the midst of the battlefield, Lyra Chen piloted her dreadnought with precision, guiding her squadron through debris and fire. "We hold the line," she said to herself, every strike confirming that humans had not only survived, they had become unstoppable. The first true turning point in the war had arrived, a moment that would be remembered across the galaxy, and humanity had proven they were no longer to be underestimated. And as the void echoed with the sounds of explosions and energy beams, the Xylar Empire reeled, their strategy shattered, while Earth's dreadnoughts, alive with power and purpose, moved with one goal in mind: victory. Humanity had turned the tide, the turning point achieved, and the galaxy now knew that the fight for survival had become a fight for dominance. The final push, the void burned with the fire of battle, massive energy beams slicing through darkness, debris drifting like silent ghosts. Earth's dreadnoughts pressed forward, their engines blazing, shields glowing, weapons ready. Commander Eric Kane stood on the bridge of Horizon's edge, eyes scanning the battlefield. "This is it," he said. The final push, every human ship moved as one, coordinated and precise, small scout ships flanking the dreadnoughts, disrupting enemy formations. Every maneuver was designed to crush the remaining Xylar forces, to end the illusion of their supremacy once and for all. The enemy fleet tried to regroup, massive cruisers forming defensive lines, energy shields flaring. Yet the humans anticipated every move. Striking with deadly accuracy, the first dreadnought fired, a massive plasma cannon tearing through the front line of alien ships, explosions blooming across the void. The soundless fury of destruction left Xylar soldiers scrambling. "They are unstoppable," whispered one officer, eyes wide with fear. Meanwhile, Kane coordinated simultaneous strikes, directing the fleet to key vulnerabilities in the enemy formation. Every move calculated, every strike deadly, showcasing humanity's tactical brilliance. Lyra Chen led her squadron through the chaos, dodging enemy fire, guiding torpedoes into critical targets. "We will not fail," she said, determination burning in her eyes. Her squadron cut through the alien cruisers, leaving trails of destruction in their wake. The humans had learned, adapted, and now they unleashed every strategy, every weapon, every ounce of courage they possessed. On the enemy flagship, Admiral Vexar roared, clawed hands slamming against the control panel. "Hold the line!" But the Xylar fleet was breaking. The humans' relentless assault, combined with precise tactics, shattered the cohesion of the Empire. Fear replaced confidence, doubt replaced arrogance, and the dreadnoughts pressed the advantage, unstoppable and unyielding. Suddenly, A hidden fleet of alien reinforcements appeared from behind a distant asteroid field. Glowing ships armed with destructive energy. Ready to strike, suspense gripped the human commanders. But Kane smiled. "We expected them," he said. Activating reserve systems, the Dreadnoughts adjusted. Shields flaring brighter than ever. Weapons targeting the incoming force. Ready to strike before the enemy could act. The battle escalated to a climax, massive energy beams colliding. Explosions scattering debris across the void even at a distance. The spectacle was awe-inspiring and terrifying. Yet humans fought with unbreakable resolve. Their courage and ingenuity turning desperation into dominance. Every strike, every maneuver, reminded the galaxy that humanity had returned. And they were here to stay. Then came the decisive moment. The Xylar flagship exposed. Energy systems faltering under constant bombardment. Kane gave the order. "Focus fire." A coordinated volley of plasma beams. Torpedoes and laser strikes tore through the massive ship. Explosions lighting the void like miniature suns. The flagship shuddered, systems collapsing, and finally, it erupted into a cloud of fire and metal, signaling the near end of the Empire's might. Cheers echoed silently across the human fleet. Every pilot, every crew member knowing that the final push had succeeded. The Xylar Empire was shattered, their command destroyed. Fleets in retreat, morale broken, humanity's courage, ingenuity, and sheer determination had carried them through the darkest moments, turning a desperate fight into a decisive victory. And yet, even in triumph, suspense lingered, for the galaxy was vast. Unknown threats still lurked in distant sectors. The humans had won this battle, but the war for survival and dominance was never ending. Kane looked at the stars, eyes calm and determined. "We have done what was thought impossible," he said. "And now, the galaxy will remember humanity." As Earth's dreadnoughts regrouped, engines glowing, shields repairing, weapons recharging, the human fleet prepared to return home, victorious yet vigilant. The final push had proven one truth to all who witnessed it. Humanity was alive, unbroken, and unstoppable. The galaxy would tremble at their power, and the story of this battle would echo across the stars for generations to come. Victory and legacy. The void was calm at last, but only for a moment. Earth's dreadnoughts drifted among the wreckage of the Xylar Empire, massive ships glowing softly, engines humming. A silence of triumph and exhaustion filled the command bridges. Commander Arik Kane looked across the fleet, pride and relief mingling in his eyes. "We have survived," he said. "We have won." Survivors on Earth watched the live feeds from hidden observation posts, cheering quietly, tears of joy and disbelief streaming down their faces. Children who had never seen human power alive now stared at screens, eyes wide with awe. Adults who had lost everything now felt hope for the first time in decades. Humanity had endured, humanity had triumphed, and the stars themselves bore witness to their return. The remains of the Xylar fleet fled into the void, broken and scattered, their leaders defeated, ships destroyed, morale shattered. The galaxy was learning that humans were not weak, not easily conquered, and not to be underestimated. Kane sent out a communication across the cosmos, a message simple yet powerful. Humanity survives, and we will protect our home. The signal carried courage and defiance, a warning to any who might threaten Earth again. Onboard Horizon's Edge, Lyra Chen looked at the stars, her hands resting on her console. The battles had been fierce, the cost high, but the human spirit had prevailed. Her squadron shared quiet smiles, knowing their bravery and skill had turned the tide. Every pilot, every crew member had contributed to the legacy of this victory. The dreadnoughts, massive and powerful, had proven that humanity's ingenuity and resilience were unmatched. Back on Earth, celebrations began in secret. Families reuniting, communities rebuilding, humanity's pride returned with every step. Every life saved, every ship that had survived, became a testament to courage, determination, and unity. Kane walked among the crews, his voice steady. "This victory is ours, but it is also a promise. We will always rise. We will always fight." Suspense lingered faintly, for the galaxy was vast, yet hope shone brighter than any fear. Even the alien defectors who had joined humanity celebrated quietly, their allegiance now cemented by respect and gratitude. They had witnessed a species thought defeated rise with power, strategy, and honor. The Xylar Empire would remember this day, and the legend of Earth's dreadnoughts would spread across the stars. a warning to all who underestimated the strength of human courage and spirit. As Earth's fleet returned to orbit, engines blazing with subdued power, Kane took a moment to gaze at the distant planets and stars. "The battle is won, but the galaxy is not ours yet," he murmured. "We have sent a message, and now we prepare for what comes next." The humans had reclaimed their place in the cosmos, and their legacy was now written among the stars. A legacy of survival, ingenuity, and unbreakable spirit. And somewhere in the distant sectors, unseen threats observed, curious, cautious, yet aware. The galaxy had changed. Humans had awakened. Their dreadnoughts had shown the strength of a species unbowed. And the story of this victory would echo forever, inspiring future generations. Every child born would hear of this day. Every commander would remember the courage of humanity. The galaxy had learned that even in the darkest moments, humans never surrendered, humans never bowed. Earth's dreadnoughts glimmered against the backdrop of space, their weapons powered down but readiness unbroken. The fleet of humanity had returned stronger, smarter, and fiercer than ever. Commander Kane looked at the stars one last time before ordering the fleet to regroup. "Today we write history," he said. "Tomorrow we defend it." The galaxy, vast and full of unknowns, would never forget the rise of humanity.